Good day, Tony, and welcome to Take Business Group here in Dunstable. My name is Mike Redfern. I'm the Business Development Manager at Take Business Group. We're a leading provider of essential business supplies with an ever-growing product range of essential products. We've been in business for 30 years, and we're pleased to be to say that we're the distributor for Fuel Spill Digester. Could you give us an overview of active car wash supplies, please?
Yes, I'm the director of Active Car Wash Supplies and co-owner. We set the business up, myself and a colleague set the business up some years ago to supply niche products into the fuel forecourt marketplace.
Okay, so we're here today to talk about Fuel Spill Digester. Could you explain how the product works?
Yes, Fuel Spill Digester uses a process called Bio Remediation, which is basically using nature to heal itself. Bio Remediation uses friendly bacteria, of which there are a great many in the world, great many different types, to remove toxins, to remove contaminants, to remove unpleasant materials from throughout the environment. And it's using, as I said, using nature to heal itself. People have been using bacteria and fungus for many years, since the dawn of history. If people have ever ate bread, if people have ever drank beer, drank wine, had cheese, they're using a product of bioremediation or biological action. Indeed, pharmaceuticals, very big in the market, in the news at the minute, they, to a large degree, are based on bioremedial action. Now, the actual Fuel Spill Digester uses a process, a microbiological process called the Krebs cycle. And what happens is that we use a blend of carefully selected bacteria and enzymes that are targeted specifically at long-chain hydrocarbons. And those long-chain hydrocarbons are actually consumed and digested as part of this Krebs cycle by this bacteria. The only byproducts from this process is water and carbon dioxide. And the carbon dioxide is just a trace element of carbon dioxide. It is perfectly safe.
So what are some of the main uses for a Fuel Spill Digester?
Well, Fuel Spill Digester at the minute is predominantly being used in petrol station forecourts, fuel station forecourts, to clean up fuel spills that members of the public may drop onto the floor. So if somebody is filling up their diesel tank and it overfills, it runs down the side of the car and it goes onto the concrete apron. That can be a skid hazard or a trip hazard, and therefore it needs to be cleaned up. And one of the ways of doing that is using a Fuel Spill Digester.
So how does this product fit with High-Res England?
Well, Fuel Spill Digester, because it does what it says on the tin, it digests fuel spills, is very useful to the highways industry, simply because there is a constant drip of long-chain hydrocarbons in the form of fuels, in the form of power steering fluid, in the form of washer fluid, in the form of automatic transmission fluid. All the fluids a car relies on, engine oil, all the fluids a car relies on drip onto the surface of the road at one time or the other. This constant drip just starts to degrade the road surface, and that is a major problem. Second major problem is the fuel spills themselves. The average fuel spill on a major trunk road in the UK is 30 litres of diesel, and that 30 litres of diesel can create damage, the average damage of £52,000 per spill. So it's an expensive problem that probably needs an answer.
So this is dangerous and costly, or can be dangerous and costly. Are there any issues with the current cleanup process?
At the moment, people use desiccants, people use things like sand or cat litter and certain chemicals to try and clean up fuel spills. This can create problems. You can have operators shoveling and sweeping desiccants and cat litter, sand, shoveling it up. That itself is now a hazardous material because guess what? That can burst into flame. The chemicals which some people use can actually be injurious to the environment. They can harm aquatic life. Therefore, before you put them on the fuel spill, you've got to find where the local drainage grids are and block them, which of course delays the treatment time. If you delay the treatment time, in a short measure, the road may need to be resurfaced. Very expensive.
So how does the actual fuel digester, the enzymes, work?
What happens is that the enzymes help to break up the long-chain hydrocarbons without damaging the asphalt surface itself. And those hydrocarbon chains are broken down by the enzymes, which releases the bugs, the bacteria, to work on those long-chain hydrocarbons and basically eat them. And they will keep on eating them until there's none left. And they will continue to follow, the fuel spill digester will continue to follow that fuel spill wherever it goes. So if it goes into a watercourse, the fuel spill digester will follow it and continue eating that fuel as it enters the watercourse. So
the road surfaces themselves, once the fuel digester has been applied, what's the conditions like for the road surface?
Funnily enough, or amazingly enough, in independent tests that we've carried out, the road surface is actually improved in terms of grip by 18% following the application of fuel spill digester onto a diesel spill. So the actual fuel spill digester improves the skid resistance of the road and raises it by 18% compared to what it was prior to the diesel spill. So we're actually improving the road surface.
So the condition of the road surface, well, we're talking about after the event. What about before the event? What about if you applied fuel spill digester prior?
This is very interesting. The concept of seeding the road surface, we think that would be a very good idea, simply because what you would end up with is actual friendly bacteria, fuel spill digester bacteria, waiting in the road surface for the drips to fall on to the road surface. As soon as that drip of hydrocarbon falls on the road surface, before it can start to attack the asphalt and degrade that, the bacteria in fuel spill digester will digest that hydrocarbon and negate the problem.
And what about temperature changes? Obviously, the UK is a changing country. What about high and low temperatures?
The fuel spill digester works best in warm conditions, so anything over 10 degrees, and the bugs will, how should I say, are ravenous. From 10 degrees down to -10, they are slightly less ravenous, but they still work very effectively. So at -10, they work effectively. However, fuel spill digester is applied in an aqueous solution, in a water solution. So the water may freeze at that level. However, there are two ways around that. We have a winterized version, which takes it down to -10 with no problems whatsoever. And then we also can apply fuel spill digester in a brine solution. So it can be applied as part of a normal snow clearing exercise, ice clearing exercise. And in that, the bugs are more than happy to sit in that brine solution.
And how easy is it to use?
It's very easy to use. You dilute our basic solution at 10 to 1, so 10 litres of water to 1 litre of fuel spill digester, and then you just spray that over the fuel spill, and a little bit of a brush. You don't have to brush it hard. A little bit of a brush just to move it around and distribute it throughout the spill, and it's good to go.
I mean, well, what about the future? I mean, where do we go from here?
From here, we're looking at interceptor management. We're looking at waste companies. We're looking at the Ministry of Defence. They've expressed a large interest in this product. And anywhere where there's an oil spill problem, whether it be in bonded fuel depots, whether it be in distribution centres, whether it be in fuel distribution companies, we're looking at putting it into those industries, because wherever there's a fuel spill, wherever there's fuel, there'll be a fuel spill. Wherever there's a fuel spill, you need this product.
Tony, thank you very much for your time today. It's been really interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you.